10th level of Pro Gear. 5 levels of Loop 1, 5 levels of Loop 2, which brings us to the big finish here, the last level, and this absurdly long video. I realize it took me a really long time for me to get this up. It's actually been done for a very long time. There was a non-commentary version posted a while ago, but, well, I've just had other shit to do, and sitting down and talking for 12 minutes is quite simply a huge pain in the ass, and, well, things just really not been going especially well with the whole thing. So today I finally decided I really want to get this LP over with, so I'm just going to get this out of the way. So I'm sitting down for 12 minutes watching myself play a game I haven't touched in well over a month, maybe close to 2 at this point, because I really want this LP to be over, and since I started it, I might as well finish it, especially since all the really hard stuff, namely playing the game, has been done, and it's been done for a very long time. So let's get this file off my hard drive and get all this stuff over with. The level here, it's much the same as the first time around. There's a lot of really nice setups, so just keep erasing bullets. Only the round bullets kind of get in the way a little bit, but by this point you should have no problem dealing with them. And they aren't too bad. In fact, you can even erase a lot of the round bullets because you can set off some really nice chains and all that stuff, so it kind of gets rid of a lot of those problems. It's just a really simple level, pretty straightforward, nothing too complicated, very excellent score opportunities, although sadly no extra lives involved, and they do give you some pretty nice bombs and all that stuff. I did a really shitty job of the final boss, by the way, so if you're looking for a good example of how to take down the boss properly, or a really good video of the fight with the final boss of Loop 2 and all that stuff, look elsewhere. This was the first time I actually fought this guy and got through properly, and I thought it was a pretty decent run. It was okay. I don't think I did too terribly overall, but I was kind of relying on my bombs and my stock of lives a bit more than I should have been, and I don't think it was a really good example of how to sort of fight the boss. So if that's what you're looking for, just stop the video now, because you're not going to see anything especially great. It might give you a bit of an idea, but, well, it's probably not the best. I'm sure there's much better players out there to be watching. So, yeah, this game has been completed here. Well, what to say about it? It's got a really nice bullet erase gimmick. I really like that sort of stuff, and it's got a really sort of interesting way that the score works. The requirements for the second loop are really annoying, because you have to go through the first loop, obviously, which makes 2-loop games always a huge pain in the ass to deal with. And it's got some really nice twists on the whole double loop thing, like the round bullets and all that other stuff, and the way it limits your lives. So there's that, and even the whole sending you back to the start of the level thing if you die, that's pretty cool, although, oh my god, that is just so fucking sadistic on so many levels. I don't even know how to begin on that. So this game was like a really nice challenge for me, because, well, I rely on bombs quite a bit when I'm playing games like this, and this game kind of withholds them a little bit more, and it tries to force you not to use them. In fact, in order to enter the second loop, you have to pretty much get through the game without touching them. And since it's a double loop game, double loop games always tend to be like endurance marathons, because you just can't sort of walk into it and go right to the highest difficulty. I kind of wish more games sort of did that to some degree, because it's, I mean, no matter how good you are at the game, you're going to die a couple of times, and having to get through the first loop without dying pretty much, well, that's basically just being a huge asshole right there. But, you know, that adds to the challenge, and hey, it's pretty cool. It requires you to practice quite a bit and get used to it. So there's that. This panel right here, you really want to make sure to dodge horizontally instead of vertically. I learned that the hard way. That's how you're supposed to get through. You have to go through the side instead of going up and down, even though it does sort of look like you're supposed to push up. No, every time I've ever tried to do that, I ended up getting killed. So yeah, the second time around, I really just started trying to dodge horizontally, and that seemed to work, so that's always been my way of getting through this. So this is the final boss. You actually can't see it too well right now, but you're going to see it as the thing like burns away. That little thing right in the center, it's actually the guy standing on a platform and like holding the wheel and stuff. It's pretty cool. It's a nice little detail. And yeah, I just died right there. I sort of wandered into the trail, all these random bullets going around, and you're trying to dodge the huge thing that's charging you, and all this other random sort of pattern bullets all over the place. So you have pattern bullets, you have random bullets, and you have the boss trying to charge you all at the same time. And there's just too much stuff to focus on, and I kind of lost focus a little bit there. I just really died. Unfortunately, even if you die, you just come right back there, so hopefully you have a bunch of extra lives lying around, which you should, because chances are if you're in the second loop, you should have a good idea of how to play the game anyway, so no problem. Speaking of double loop games, this is probably the last double loop shooter I'm going to LP ever. There's not a whole lot of double loop shooters that are really running on emulators, and that really run all that well, and so there's not going to be much chance of that happening. And the ones I'm sort of thinking about doing, they are single loops, so fortunately I don't have to worry about that in the foreseeable future, and there's pretty much no chance that another one's going to be emulated in the near future. So I should be okay. There's a couple of companies that do these things, but not a whole lot that I really see being much of a problem, or that they're going to actually be double loops, and, you know, stuff I don't think I'm going to be touching. So fortunately things are all very nicely done there. I was actually asked a while back by Gibson, I believe, sort of where to start with these sort of games. Well, the simple answer is to just pick up one, whichever one kind of catches your eye, and just play it, because the games all sort of use a similar skill set. Like, you're probably noticing a lot of the patterns here look similar to another game if you're actually familiar with a bunch of these, and like the skills and stuff sort of carry over. So if you play one and you're not too good at it, then the next time you play, or the next game you play, you're probably going to be a little bit better. It just sort of builds up until eventually you're starting to dodge entire screens full of bullets with little to no problem at all, because the skills just really kind of carry over and your reaction time sort of builds up, and just generally get used to the whole thing. You might want to try doing something that has a really nice sort of difficulty select thing. I believe I ended up recommending the Toho games. I recommended, like, I believe it was 6, 7, 8, and 12. Those are a pretty good place to start. They have difficulty select. They're pretty generous with lives. They tend to be some of the slower speed games, and they're pretty easy, although I'm using that term a little bit loosely here because, well, none of these games are especially easy, but, well, sort of in the grander scheme of things. Yeah, this pattern right here, complete fucking bullshit. Oh god. You're supposed to sort of watch those large orange, or rather yellow things that come out, and the way the trails come out. But I was having a really lousy time of that, and I've never actually gotten to this part, so I'm pretty much just dodging based on like reflexes and hand-eye coordination, which is really not a good way to do it, because you're probably going to walk into stuff more often than not, and I was really getting hypnotized and confused, so I was steering into stuff. So really serious fuck-ups there. Fortunately, I had enough stockpile that I could get through, no problem. Yeah, like I said, that was a really shitty job of that whole thing. And that's another thing too, when you play these games you kind of get used to seeing and noticing certain patterns and how you dodge them. So that's sort of really important skill. It's not quite so much reflex based as it probably looks, although it certainly doesn't help that you can sort of react to stuff, because especially among, say, caves games, you tend to see quite a bit of random bullets, and things don't always go a certain way during the fights. So it helps to be sort of reflexive, but it's not exactly the most important thing, because, well, if you sort of know how to exploit patterns or where to notice things, like one that seems to be really catching a lot of people off guard are crossover patterns, which is where the bullets sort of cross together. The thing here is that you're actually supposed to steer towards where the bullets cross, so it looks like you're actually steering into the bullets, but that's going to open up to a gap by the time you actually reach that spot. That always seems to throw people off, and they end up going to the side. That's like a really serious rookie mistake, and yeah, stuff like that. Once you figure out stuff like that, no problem, right? So that was the good ending right there. Basically, they end up getting married, and you noticed a while back, if you were reading the text, it said that even though we did all the shit, we still lost the war. That really kind of bugs me. I don't know what the hell is going on there. I mean, I took out like a fuckload of people. I mean, that's got to be a small army right there. And I assaulted their base, which is this really cool sort of steampunk flying island fortress thing, protected by what appears to be early 20th century technology taken to a ridiculous degree. Like, you have these huge tanks that are just absurdly big, and, you know, stuff like that. But even though I blew up their fucking base and all this stuff, they still somehow managed to kick our ass. I'm apparently the only soldier in the entire military that is worth a damn, because, hey, they kicked our ass. What the fuck? Okay, so credit roll, nothing important here, just a bunch of names. Go ahead and read them if you want, but I doubt you're going to see many names that you're actually going to recognize. Developed by Cave in 2000, the end. Yep, that's right, the game's over. This is over. Feels like it's been forever. But no, it's over now. Just me typing in my name here. Yeah, it's actually me playing. A little bit of evidence there, and that's my high score. Not exactly that great, but whatever. I got through the game. I got through 2 loops. That's good enough for me. So I guess I'll see you around next time. Later, everybody.